What's good, everybody? My name is BobbyPlays, and I'm excited to be talking about some mobile gaming today with the Mobies. Top 5 mobile games of all time. I mean, obviously, Call of Duty Mobile has to be in there. That's one that I've probably spent the most time on throughout my gaming career. RuneScape is definitely in there because that was one that got me heavily addicted whenever I was younger. And then another one that took up a lot of my time in my high school years is called MapleStory, which is kind of similar to RuneScape. It's a MMORPG as well. Then I would have to go NBA 2K, just because that was kind of the game that I always played with my friends in college. And then number 5 is one that I'm hoping is here to stay. But Warzone Mobile obviously just launched, and we have high expectations for it. I know they're still working on making it as playable as possible for everyone. So I'm going to tentatively put it in my top 5 right now in hopes that it's something that we get to play for a lot of years to come. So I've kind of always been a mobile gamer, even before mobile gaming was like phone gaming. The first console I ever owned was a Game Boy, and I love playing Pokemon on that with my friends. And then after that, once again, I never really had a console growing up. I would have like Game Boys. The PSP was the next one that I moved on to. Star Wars Battlefront 2, absolute banger on the PSP. And then I like dabbled in video games throughout high school and stuff, just at my friend's house. But it wasn't until college that I got to play like 2K and have my own console a little bit. But obviously, I've always had a phone, and so I kind of mess around with different mobile games just because it was so easy to do on the go whenever I was in college. Started making basketball content around mobile games, and that was kind of where I got my start. Where I got the name Bobby Buckets as well. My real name is actually Drake, for those of you who don't know. But I became Bobby Buckets, and then the internet knew me as Bobby Buckets, so I kind of had to take the Bobby name with me, and that was how I arrived at BobbyPlays, making shooter content, which is obviously my primary project right now. Most people are not going to have heard of these guys. So somebody that actually I still like kind of keep up with. I follow him on Twitter, and I know he still makes like NBA content. His name's Will Upton. He's probably going to be shocked that I'm referencing him, but he's one that played a game called My NBA 2K16. I think that was like the first game that I ever posted videos on. He was somebody that like, he was the first YouTuber I ever watched for that. And so he was kind of the guy that I was like, well, I'll just make my stuff the way that he makes his. Another guy is definitely QJB. He's still around and making content. And because I've been recently playing a new NBA game on mobile called NBA Infinite, I've actually gotten the opportunity to collab with him a little bit. But it's been cool to see the way that his content has sustained itself through the NBA Live mobile days. And the last one I would say is probably TimTheTatman. He's influenced me more than anything else in my shooter days. And I think especially his spectating content, obviously it's something that I basically completely adapted for my own content in COD Mobile and have started doing in Warzone Mobile as well. So I would say he's probably the third person that I've tried to model my content after. I really like the video. And I guess it was kind of a series because I had a couple different episodes at different times in my channel. But whenever I would buy weird mobile gaming products and try them out, that was something that I really enjoyed just because it was nice to take a break from just sitting down talking about gameplay, like just trying out weird things. And it's something that I feel like my audience really enjoyed as well. So it's something I want to do more. Obviously, it requires more planning, and that's the main issue for me just because I'm not much of a planner. But whenever I do actually sit down, take the time to get something like that ready, I've really enjoyed it, and I think my audience has as well. 2023, to me, it kind of felt like a big waiting game. I think that's something that the entire mobile community would kind of echo, but obviously, even at the start of 2023, COD Mobile had already been out for 3.5 years, and it was really the last big shooter that released that succeeded. We had other games that released after that, like New State Mobile, but it didn't quite live up to expectations. Obviously, Apex Mobile came out, and by I think halfway through 2023, it had already shut down. So the mobile community, I think, has not had its expectations met in a lot of situations. And even in regards to the Warzone mobile launch, we thought that was going to happen in November. And then we found out at COD Next that was not going to be the case either. So 2023 definitely felt like a waiting year, but it does seem like mobile gaming is finally starting to turn a new page right now, as obviously Warzone mobile is launching. There's a lot of other mobile titles that seem like they're getting closer to launching as well. So hopefully this can be a breath of fresh air for the mobile community that's been waiting for something new for a long time. I think it has one very obvious path that a lot of companies are going to take, and that is basically to amplify their mainline existing games, and that's something that Warzone Mobile is doing very heavily right now. Obviously, it has iterations of past maps that they've had in mainline Warzone, so maps like Rebirth Island and Verdansk, basically bringing back content to kind of draw people to the mobile side of things, and basically bridge the gap between the PC and console I guess, audiences that exist on those platforms. And it's definitely, it seems much more similar to something like Fortnite Mobile than I think what other mobile games have done for the most part in creating completely separate iterations with games like Call of Duty Mobile and PUBG Mobile. So I think it's going to go down those two different paths, and the companies that don't have super strong IPs that are just going to build from the ground up are going to have to build like the strongest possible mobile product to be able to compete with that recognizability of those strong IPs. But I think overall, it's also going to create better products that will force those strong IPs to really refine their games and bring them to a point where it's accessible to all players on the platform. A lot of people are talking about Warzone Mobile right now. It's a very hot topic with it coming out, only a week ago at the time that we're recording this. There's definitely a lot of people that are hoping that the game reaches a point where it's more accessible on more devices. Obviously, it's downloadable, but there are a lot of people who are just not happy with the way that it's running right now. I'm fully planning on sticking through with the game regardless of the time that it takes, because I do feel like, and I believe the Warzone Mobile team feels like this is a game that has a very strong future and something that they see as a long-term project, not even like 3-4 years, like potentially 10 years. And obviously it's going to go through growing pains in that time, but that's a big focus for me. And then I have really enjoyed being able to get back into NBA content. I've always been a diehard NBA fan. It's been frustrating to me that there's never been a really good mobile NBA game. So I've started creating content around a game called NBA Infinite that is like true 3v3 basketball. I was heavily addicted to it before Warzone Mobile came out, and the only reason that I'm not addicted to it anymore is because I really don't have time to be, but that's something that I'm looking forward to getting back into as well. Thank you guys for having me. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys at the Mobies in 2024.